පාන වගේ ඔබේ රුව දිලිසිලා මට නිතරම පෙනෙනවා මැවිලා මාලා ඇවිත් මගේ කනට ඔයාලන් වෙලා කියන්නකෝ ආදරේ කියලා මාලා මම ඔබ ගැනම හිතාලා අහසේ රන් මාලිගා තනාලා.
Are you born?
Commander John.
Okay. I'm Pierre. This is my assistant, Roseanne. I'm going to try and put some recipes together for our nephew, for our niece, Claire, who's now living in Bristol, UK. And she's not quite happy with the curries that are there. So what we're going to do is show her how to make different curries so she can make them in Bristol.
And set the freezer light.
So today what we're going to start with is how to make the Sri Lankan roasted curry powder, and then in other episodes we'll show you how to make different sort of curries and other Sri Lankan recipes and other stuff. And throughout the course we'll have various guest chefs like Roseanne, Granny, and who else? Howard. And Alex and maybe Margella Lawson. Who knows? Anyway, we'll get started with the Sri Lankan roasted curry powder. Okay, now to start with Sri Lankan roasted curry powder, we start with raw seeds. Now there are several different seeds. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ingredients that we're going to put in. Now we can do a close-up of all the different various spices.
Oops.
You've got coriander seeds. Cardamom pods.
Get your spice.
Cardamom pods. Now, they're a bit old. So you're probably best off getting nice fresh ones. So the nice fresh ones are green, and they turn into that after you've had them in the cupboard for 10 years. So okay, I'm going to replace those with these. Now you want one stick. Oh, sorry, that was 1 teaspoon of cardamom pods. This is the cinnamon. 1 stick of cinnamon. That's about 2.5 inches. What the hell? What's so funny about that?
Just move on.
2.5 inches. This is, these are cloves, 1 teaspoon of cloves. Okay. Now this is a nutmeg. For this quantities that I'm using, half a nutmeg will do. So to recap, half a nutmeg, teaspoon of cloves, teaspoon of cardamom pods, 1 2.5 inch stick of cinnamon, 2 tablespoons of curry leaves, teaspoon of fenugreek, tablespoon of fennel, half a cup of cumin, and 1 cup of coriander. Now it's a bit difficult to sort of differentiate between cumin and fennel. Fennel is sort of green, and the grains of the seeds are actually larger, about twice the size of cumin. Cumin's got a sort of a cuminy scent, cuminy flavour, and the fennel has a fennelly scent. So that's how you tell the difference. No, actually, besides the physical difference, this has got more of an aniseed flavour.
Oh. And what about the cumin?
Okay. Okay, now you've got all the ingredients. Now to roasting, you're only going to sort of roast only a portion of these seeds. Okay. Now can we do a close up of this? Can you see all of it? Okay. Now you've got the big stuff. You've got your cloves, your cardamom pods, and this cinnamon stick and a nutmeg. That's separate. You don't roast these, but you do grind them. This If you can't get the dried, you get the fresh ones, or if you use dried, then you just grind them up. But the fresh ones, because they need to be dried, we can just roast them. And the other grains that need to be roasted are fenugreek, cumin, and the fennel and the coriander. Now, because they all are different sizes, they'll sort of roast at different rates. So you have to roast each one separately and put them in a bowl. So you can mix it up, and then you mix them all up together and then grind them later. But first, what we're going to do is roast each one of these 5 separately. Okay. Now, before we start roasting these, I've got to wait for the pan to warm up. So I'm going to explain the first part of the grinding process. So these ones are fairly big compared to the other seeds. So we're going to have to grind them first to get them smaller for the final grinding stage. So what we're going to do is, can you see closer to that? Maybe if you come closer. Okay, so we've got a spice grinder. It's a specific spice grinder meant for heavy spices, as opposed to a coffee grinder, which is a bit sort of lighter. But you can get dual-purpose coffee grinder, spice grinders. But you don't want to do the same thing, otherwise you're going to screw up your coffee if you use your coffee grinder as spice. Anyway, so we're going to start with this cinnamon stick. We're going to just break it up. Break it up. Oh man. See, that's what I mean. We've got to work on this first. And I think we'll do a bit of work on that on its own because it's so big and hard. There, you got a power? What else we got? How's this? Okay, that's done a good job of grinding that up. As you can see from the stick, it's gone into that.
Turn it over.
So it's
Wow.
a bit more than what I thought, but that's fine. So what I'm going to do is put it in the mixing bowl.
So these are the spices that you do not roast.
That's exactly right. So the other ones are the cardamom pods, the cloves, and the nutmeg. So we'll just pour them all in here. And we'll give them a grind. You can see here they've gone to a reasonable size.
Hang on.
So they're big, they're ground down to a good size. Whereas these are all fairly small, so they don't require a great deal of grinding. But as you can see, the smell, when you grind these things fresh, the aromas are really strong. That's the beauty of fresh roasted and ground curry powder. The aromas are really rich and fresh. So just put that in the mixing bowl. Now what we're going to do now is roast the curry leaves or curry pincher. Get the pan hot and just brown them off. You don't want to overdo it, but get an idea of how far to go. Maybe you're blocking the light. Your body's blocking the light.
No, you're right.
There's light between the window and you.
But I can see the colour. When I move here, the colour's good. Just, I'm the expert at this. Just leave it to me.
You can see the edges of the leaves are starting to turn brown.
Can you get high on curry leaves?
I don't know, I've never smoked them. Maybe I can give you some. You can go home and smoke them and tell me what happens. Make a bomb out of it. Can you see there's a bit of the pop there? A bit of snap crackle of pop. And these leaves are starting to brown off and they're starting to curl up. And release their oils and aroma. So you want to keep it moving so they get browned off evenly.
Now, is the temperature on the frying pan high?
Yes.
So it has to be high.
Oh, well, it has to be high. Well, you can control it by taking it off. But you get there quicker if it's on high. If it's too much, you just remove it away and sort of fan it, reduce the... But if you find that you can't control it, slow the fucking thing down. Okay, so can you see? That should be ample.
That didn't take long at all.
No, it didn't. Let's put that in the...
So you don't need to grind that? Oh, you need
No, we're going to do a secondary grind.
Oh, okay.
We're going to... first grind you do all the big stuff, and then second grind you do all the remaining stuff combined. Second thing we're going to do with coriander seeds. There's a cup there, it's a fair bit. So we'll probably do that in about 2 lots. Now coriander seeds got a bit of husk on it. And it's very easy to burn these. So you just want to sort of do it until a bit of smoke comes up. And you've got to be really careful because if you burn these, you get the burnt flavour, you get the burnt smell, and you get the burnt taste in your curry.
Is this the only one you have to be careful of?
Oh, well, you mostly because of the husk. But you've got to be careful of the others too, like this one.
Particularly.
So just keep it moving around.
What's that long thing?
A bit of branch from the plant. It doesn't matter, roughage, just keep it in there. Don't worry. But I'm going to burn my fingers.
That's looking a bit golden now, a bit more brown.
No, there's no smoke coming up. Now, can you see the smoke starting to come up? Just keep it moving around.
Yeah, it looks like this one will get burnt very quickly.
Okay. Now, once you start to get the smell, it's quite. That's when that's about the time when to take it off. You get a bit of smoke coming up, but when you get the smell, it's a sign that all the flavours being released, and it's a good time to take it off. Go to the second half of the coriander. This one's taking a bit longer. Might have lost. Oh, I'm starting to get a smell now. Keep it on a bit longer. Keep it moving so it's done evenly. Yeah, a bit of smoke start to come, that'll do it. Next is the pudding. Maybe it's a bit too much there, should have done the halving again, but anyway. Anyway, not too bad. Maybe I will do the halving. So just do half at a time so you can sort of control it better. Now this is starting to roast quickly. It's a smaller grain, so you don't need as much time to do it as a coriander. Now you just want to brown this off, and when you get the smell, that should be enough. I'm starting to get the smell now. I'll try and get a bit more colour. Okay, a bit of smoke coming up there. Let's do a bit more to get a bit more colour. Okay, so that'll do for that one. Now the second half, you get that. Okay, starting to roast. You can see that smoke come off. Move it around, flip it around so you get the even roasting. I'm going to do this one just a little bit more. Get a bit of colour. Yeah, this starting to smoke a bit. You can hear it starting to crackle. So while this is roasting away, Roseanne, what do you have in store to show us in the future?
Well, possibly a love cake.
A love cake, whoa. Now that's worth staying in tune for. You've been writing the Marathi recipe. But we'll have more to say on that later.
That's right.
That'll be an interesting episode. Okay, so that'll do for that one. I've done this one a bit browner to sort of add a bit more colour to the curry powder. So this one's a bit darker. Add that to the bulk. Okay, second last one, the fennel. So this is like the cumin, but it's a bit more like aniseed. So the larger grains probably need a bit longer to cook, but then again there's less of it. There's a fair bit less. So just let that heat up a bit. Starting to crackle. Just move around. So besides the log cake, what else could you have you got in store for us?
What's that black cake called?
Bibican.
Bibican, yeah.
That might be a bit difficult.
Oh,
We're getting a bit jaggery.
I'll find it. There's a will, there's a way.
Not you, her.
Oh, surely.
In Bristol?
Yeah. Bristol must have an Asian food store.
Well, it'll be fun. The episode will be fun anyway.
It'd take a couple of days, but...
Couple of days. Okay, well, it's starting to brown nicely. You can see it's not sort of, it's lost its green. It's turning to brown, that's the idea. So you can get the smell. Do you identify that as a sort of an aniseedy flavour? Scent? Yeah, have a sniff. Aniseedy? It's not cuminy. Between chicken and ham?
Yeah, chicken and ham. Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, there you go. Let's give this a bit more.
It's not like Madeira licorice.
No. Yeah, but aniseed, you know, like a star of anus or what? It's got that aniseedy sort of strong flavour. Anyhow, it's different from cumin. Okay, just give that a bit more. Leave it on there, a little bit of heat.
Your battery's going to cark it soon. Hayden, don't be rude.
Woody boy in the background.
Yeah, put it away, Hayden.
Bit of smoke coming off there. Just give it a bit longer. Just about there. Just get a bit more colour in it.
More on the outside of the oven than in the pan.
It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Okay, now this is the final one, the fenugreek. I don't know if this comes from Greece or not. But anyway, these are sort of very sensitive. You'll see them start to pop and crackle. And some will end up outside the pan.
What, like popcorn?
Yeah. So once it starts to get hot, it's more volatile. It'll start to pop all over the place.
You won't lose an eye, will you?
No. It's not that volatile. Okay, can you see them starting to sort of pop and crackle?
Oh, yeah? Ooh.
A bit of excitement. They're dancing around, having a bit of a Mardi Gras. But these brown off very quickly. Yeah, having a bit of polka dots. Oh, okay, so that'll do that one. Now that's pretty much all the stuff. Now we're done. We'll turn the oven off. So these are all the pre-ground and the roasted spices mixed together. So what we want to do is give it a bit of a stir to make sure it's all sort of evenly mixed. And when you're doing that, there's heat in there, and you can sort of And you can see a bit of smoke or steam coming on. I think it's a steam. That's all the oils sort of mixing together, and you can get the vapour started to come up, and the smell, the aroma that thing is released is very sort of very pungent. So what we're going to do is, because this thing is limited in size, we're going to sort of do it about 3 or 4 stages grinding it. Trying to get into get the bloody grinder rather than on the tabletop.
I need a funnel.
A funnel. Anyway.
Funnel.
Anyway, we managed.
Your leaf.
Hey, the leaf.
Sorry.
Turn over a new leaf. Let's leave it in the grinder, say 4 minutes, I think. And you want it sort of fine.
So you put it on for 4 minutes?
Just until it's... It wasn't exactly 4 minutes, but might have been 40 seconds. Anyway, we'll take it off, and you've got to give it a bit of a slap because all the stuff gets stuck in the roof. Give it a slap. Now it's quite warm. It's got to be warm from. Now that's what it looks like. Now we'll give it a bit more than that. So that's. Can you see the colour of it? How it's sort of brown. If you roast it a bit longer, it'll be a darker brown. But if you roast it too much, you're in danger of sort of burning it. But that's about where you'd want to be, perhaps a bit darker. We'll give this a bit more of a grind.
Because you want it to be like a fine powder, isn't it?
Do a bit more. Okay, that's a bit too much. You can see it's a very fine powder, and if you sort of fiddle with it, you can see how it's sort of, you can still feel the heat from the roasting. You can tell that it's fine, it's quite fine. It can lump together. Okay, so that's how you're supposed to get it. Now we'll do the other.
Oh, I can smell that.
Yeah, you can smell it. It's nice and nice. So we'll do the others. Probably do this in about three stages.
Get it in this time.
You can tell with the towards the end the spice grinder was labouring a bit, so that was when it was starting to get a very fine powder. So we'll give this up to say 12. No, I normally don't time it. I just do it till it's really fine. You can see this one again. It's really fine, and the grinder was starting to labour, so that's a sign that it's getting really fine, and you can see it's starting to get into big lumps. That's about it. And the final one. This one was a bit quicker, there's a bit less in it, so okay, you're going to get your fine stuff sticking to the bottom. Now to clean your spice grinder, you can just get some raw rice, put it in there, say about a couple of teaspoons, and that'll clean the whole grinder out. Do that.
Of ice?
No, rice.
Oh, rice. Sorry.
So yeah, rice, and that'll cleanse it.
So you don't have to wash it with the detergent or anything?
You can if you want. I mean, this you can take the whole unit off, and you can probably wash this, but some you can't. You can't take the grinding bowl from the machine, so you've got no choice but to use rice to cleanse it. But in this case, you can take it off and wash it in detergent. So that's the grinding done. So this is the finished product from the 8 spices. You've got your curry powder. It's going to divide it half for me, half for Grady. So you can see that what sort of consistency it is. It's a fairly fine powder, but take a spoonful, it doesn't really stays nice and high. Got a high angle of repose.
What about Howard?
We'll look after him later. My own brand of curry powder.
Hang on, let me get a close up.
Okay, now what you want to do is, once you've bottled it, give it a good shake to make sure it's everything is sort of consistent and even in texture and distribution. So the smell of freshly roasted curry powder is quite good, and the aromas of your curries are much stronger and much more aromatic. So that's it. It's not too hard to make the roasted curry powder. You just need to start off with your initial ingredients, set them all out, quickly roast them, pre-grind your big stuff, and then mix it all together and grind it all up. And you can keep this, make small amounts so you don't, so it's fresh. You use it quickly, and you make it more frequently, so it's always fresh. So that's about that's a fair bit there. So you may want to halve the quantities so it remains fresh, or use the same quantities that I've got, and you've got about a jar full. So that does it for roasted curry powder.
Hayden, open the door, please.
And I'm signing off from me and my assistant. Thank you for watching.
Ciao.